Welcome to Midcard Maniacs. I'm Jay.
And I'm John.
And today we're going to be discussing who could take over the Dark Order as the new leader. Yep. Now, obviously, with the tragic passing of Brodie Lee, the Exalted One himself, it's affected a lot of people in both the wrestling community and wrestlers themselves. Jon Huber was an amazing person and obviously couldn't be replaced. But in the terms of storylines, when it comes to the Dark Order, somebody is bound to step up, not to necessarily replace the Exalted One, but to act as a new leader to carry on the duties of the Dark Order. We've already seen, since this has happened, that they've kind of turned to almost a face stable, which is really interesting and something I'm totally on board with. And it ties a lot better into the being the elite stuff that we see. We see a lot more John Silver. We're seeing a lot more Anna Jay. And as time goes on, we need another person to step up to kind of take on a leadership role. I don't see Uno kind of filling that space anymore. Who do you think we could see step up?
I'm just gonna throw this out there right now, storyline wise, and the potential it does have. I think Adam Hangman Page can step up in this role because he's been hurt before. He doesn't trust anybody because he's a face and everyone loves him, and Dark Order is becoming a face. He could save the Dark Order because they're getting attacked. They're like,
you're right,
things like that. He makes this big save one night and says, you know what, guys, I'm not joining the Dark Order. I want to help lead the Dark Order into victory.
I think that's probably going to happen. Well, I don't know if it's going to happen. It's something that I would like to see happen and something that makes sense from a storyline basis because the way that they've been going at him for months at this point, they are aggressively trying to get Hangman Page in Dark Order to the point where they are obsessed with getting him. They've thrown him parties, cowboy parties, which were fantastic to get his attention. If he steps up as a leader, it not only positions Hangman Page in like a well-formed stable, but it also kind of like puts him at the top of a pyramid where you have all these cult members basically at his feet like he's a god. This is kind of morbid, but it looks like a Jonestown Massacre kind of situation here. We've already seen this with like Reynolds with the Kool-Aid and stuff. So like the cult aspect is not lost on Dark Order yet. But the fact that they've been wanting him so bad, if he were to step up and just be like like this drunk, incompetent kind of leader, it not only puts Hangman in a better position because he's not going for the title anytime soon, I don't think. And it gives him a place and it gives everybody in Dark Order something to like, just some more fun. Like they can have a lot of fun with this.
If we're talking like long-term booking, we already saw what happened when you have someone like John Silver versus Doc Gallows in a match. If Hangman does elevate himself to go for the title against Omega, Omega has his Bullet Club buddies. What better way to counter that than with the help of the Dark Order? And to have someone like Silver be his right-hand man makes it more entertaining because John Silver is so likable that whatever Hangman's opponent is going to say, it could be targeted towards Silver and Hangman has to step up to defend him.
And at the same point, you can also see an overthrow of power from John Silver himself stepping up to try and take on this leadership role, which even if Hangman was removed from this whole situation, if John Silver wanted to be like the new leader, which I think is a pretty realistic situation because he's not only dominant in his matches, but he's liked by the fans. Like everybody loves this guy. So it would be funny to have this kind of jokester positioned as a leader who, again, much like Hangman if he was in the situation, doesn't know how to run a cult and run an organization like this. So there's a lot of fun that can be had all over the place, like on BTE or Twitter. I think he would be funny. And I think his stature does play into it because having a very small man as a leader is inherently funny.
Now in the opposite direction of John Silver, which would be interesting, is the big red man himself, Erick Rowan. And we saw him pay respect to his longtime friend during the Brodie Lee tribute show. Him coming in would also make sense, but like he's not replicating what Brodie Lee did. He's just being there as a support figure and understood what Brodie Lee represented as the Exalted One.
That gave me tingles thinking about it. But yes, like much like on the tribute show, that gave me tingles as well seeing him come out, because it's like, man, like they've gone through thick and thin together. They've basically been booked the exact same way. Sometimes unfortunately, because we wanted to see them kind of both branch off and do their own thing. But I think it would be a great homage to Brodie Lee that would be well respected in wrestling in general. And I think the first name that would come to people's minds when trying to say, like, who knows Brodie the best? Who knows his intentions? Big Red just like makes the most sense. I don't know if he's gonna sign with AEW. It was nice to see him that one time. It would be cool. But I do feel that there could be some opposition. I think people would be like, oh, it looks like he's trying to replace Brodie Lee, and we don't want that to ever come across in Dark Order. Another option would be Brodie's like right-hand man / woman, which is the Queenslayer Anna Jay. He had positioned her in such a way she would be someone he confides in and respects, and would essentially be the heir to the throne, even though she isn't the most well-rounded performer yet, because she is really new to wrestling. She's only been wrestling for like 2 years, maybe. I think she has like the right kind of sass and appeal that people would be like really respectful of Anna Jay being head of the chain, basically. And much like the Dark Order and what we've talked about, we want to see that fun aspect, and the way that she throws Stu Grayson around. She's already shown how dominant she is as far as like a leader is concerned in the group itself. So it is a realistic situation to have, I think, all three of these people step up.
Anna Jay is probably the more likely, especially because she doesn't have to show that she's the dominant force in the ring like something you would expect from Brodie Lee. She's just the one who sits back, and everyone from the Dark Order kind of respects her and listens to what she has to say, as she's kind of like a mentor in the sense of, this is what we should be doing. It's not like, this is what you should do to win your wrestling match. This is what you should be doing to get up in the card. And the whole idea of the Dark Order is to recruit people, to get people to join them, and Anna Jay can come off as this figure of someone that outsiders would want to join her. This is like just a dark horse, just something out of the blue that could be entertaining.
If you say Blue Meanie or Hurricane Helms, I'm leaving.
As much as I love Hurricane Helms, this is actually a current member on the AEW roster that could tell a great story about taking over and joining the Dark Order. And I think it would be great if Eddie Kingston is this person. He's down on his luck because he's always that person who has that backstory.
Like being at the bottom trying to get to the top.
You just see him in the back. Dark Order's having a good time, whatever. Like John Silver just like sees him and just like approaches him with this like flyer, like, hey, join the Dark Order. And it just like gets through his head because he's a thinker and he knows, he's like, yeah, I'm down on my luck. And the Dark Order is trying to get him in by saying like, yeah, we'll get you to that level you want to be at. But he can also be smarter than them to the point that he goes in there, becomes the leader, and gets where he needs to be and uses them.
From a TV aspect, I think that's a really smart decision as well, because we all know that Eddie Kingston is an amazing talker. He does some of the best promos in wrestling in general. Like, we see him come out with a mic basically weekly, even if it doesn't really apply to whatever's going on. The Dark Order also comes out in some degree, whether it's a tag team, whether it's a singles match. Anna Jay's got a match. We're always gonna have Eddie Kingston there to back up the people that are around him and to talk from the heart about being from the bottom and rising to the top. He's always got that kind of mentality, and he uses that in his promos, and that's what Dark Order represents. So I think that he would be an excellent person to kind of sit at the top of the throne. We've got a lot of great options. What do you guys think? Who do you think could really run the Dark Order and be successful in it while either paying homage to Brodie Lee or kind of revitalizing the group as a whole as kind of like a face group that is starting very low and elevating themselves to try and be main eventers? Let us know in the comments. Like this video, and if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything Midcard Maniacs.